MoBeer, happy St. Patrick's Day. It is the beer drinking day of the year. One of two that we really celebrate along with Cinco de Mayo. And I am stoked to come into this day because otherwise March is a big waste of time. No need for March unless we have March Madness with college basketball and you have St. Patrick's Day. And that's it. Otherwise, I know some of you guys live in other places of the world, other places of the country. The weather's nice. You can do anything 365 days of the year. Here in New England, March sucks. Aside from St. Patrick's, aside from March Madness, you go outside, it's still cold. You're tired from a long winter. You just want baseball. You just want April. You want spring to come. And it's just teasing you. It's teasing you. We've got dirty snow piling up out there. So that's all St. Patrick's Day is good for. I'm sorry, that's all March is good for. St. Patrick's Day is always a good thing. So, me being, that's my second highest heritage. I am an English, Irish, Italian, American. I am stoked to celebrate St. Patrick's Day with you. Tomorrow, Facebook Live, myself, J-Mo, we're going to be doing MoBeer Madness. We're going to start with 64 beers, and we're going to get it down to one national champion. So don't miss that part. Today, though, St. Patrick's Day. And I brought some of my friends with me here. And I was looking at my bobbleheads. I don't really have any Irish bobbleheads or anything that represents Irish, so I went with the best I could. I have the Heat Miser here because he has the first stereotype. He's got red hair. I've got Elf, because I think elves and leprechauns are pretty much the same thing. We got Marty McFly. Another stereotype there. We got the great Tom Brady, good Irish boy. We've got Matt Flynn, who lives down by the river, fat man in a little coat. And good Foley. Foley is an Irish name. We've got Buck O'Neill. Doesn't get any more Irish than O'Neill. So let's talk a little beer here on St. Patrick's Day as we do our beer review here. So MoBeer, one take, no edits, as always. And first thing you always look for on St. Patrick's Day is the harp, and you look for Guinness. Good Guinness stout. That's the beer. The other thing though that everybody kind of goes with on St. Patrick's Day is if they don't want the Guinness, then they always go for the green beer. And the green beer is typically some light beer that is just added with food color. Which I think is, for me, the most ridiculous thing ever. When is adding green to anything that you put in your mouth ever a good thing? I don't even want to eat my vegetables. Never mind put green into my beer, which I cherish. So it makes no sense to me. The other thing I want to tell you is, well, it's always one take, no edits. I always make sure that I prepare my area and I've got everything with me. So I'm gonna present you with some green beer here because it is St. Patrick's Day. But when you're opening the food coloring, that crap doesn't come off your hand. Look at my thumb. I've literally got a green thumb and I can't plant or grow anything. So green beer. So basically, sorry again, so we can move you out of the way. So you take your glass it up here. We'll just go here. All right. So, really cool. I go into a store and they're serving green beer. You get out the phone, Snapchat, send it to all your friends, send it to the wife. Look how adorable this is. They're adding green to my beer. So you're taking your Bud Light, your typical Bud Light, or any other light beer. You're putting it in your glass. And, we've talked about light beers before. We even did a MoBeer on light beer. When it came down to, I think we did Coors Light, Miller Lite, and we did Bud Light. And I'm not a light beer drinker. I'm not a rice beer type of guy. I like some good hearty flavor to my beer. Unless I'm sitting in the bleachers of Fenway Park, I'll take all the beer that I can that's just kind of flat and just going to make me enjoy it and cool me off. Of the three, I liked Bud Light the best, was what I chose in that particular episode. So, lottie-dottie, we've got some Bud Light here. Tastes like it always does. Just, rice beer, kind of flat. But let's make it fun. We're going to add green to it. And all of a sudden we're Irish. All of a sudden we're creating a tradition. Woo, look at that. Green beer. Actually, it's pretty cool. Looks like a lava lamp. Look at that as it went down there. So now I've got green beer. And I'm Irish. You know what? This isn't... not only is this not going to change the flavor, but I am highly worried that I'm going to finish this episode with green teeth and a green tongue. Because I just put, I think, half the bottle of this one take, no edits. I've got, I don't know if I can show that there, but on the top of the head there is still a whole puddle of green dye. Oh boy. So, the dye has no flavor. you're just making your beer green. You're messing with your mind. It's not St. Patrick's Day. It looks like NyQuil or mouthwash. Not sure, but it's St. Patrick's Day, so let's dye our beer green. Makes no sense. Let's go to the tradition. Guinness Stout. Goes in a pint. Nobody's ever said, I'd like a tulip glass of Guinness. Everybody says, I want a pint of Guinness. I want the pint of Guinness. Here we go. That was the best accent I can do when it comes to Irish. 4.3% alcohol is what Guinness is. It is nitro instead of your CO2. So Guinness isn't your classic heavy stout. It's funny because a lot of people, you know, especially when you're doing that whole war light beer versus manly man drinkers, when you see somebody drinking a Guinness or ordering a Guinness, you're thinking hair on your chest, this is the mighty beer because it's so dark, it must be this heavy beer. Guinness is actually the light beer of stouts. It's, again, so if you want to compare these two beers, so Bud Light, 4.2% alcohol. Guinness, 4.3% alcohol. Bud Light, 110 calories. Guinness, 125 calories. So there's not a whole lot. It's literally the light beer of stouts. A stout usually has about 7 to 8.5% alcohol, whereas Guinness does not. So it's a good, light, flavorful drink. Stouts is very malty, coffee type of a beer. And as you can see, we get our pour here. We're gonna end up with a good building head as we get our Guinness put together here. Dark chocolate, beautiful. Smell of Lucky Charms and fields and snakes being driven out of the potato famine. Guinness Stout, MoBeer. Smooth, light taste, little hint of cocoa, little hint of coffee, but just a very light flavor, easy to drink beer. Guinness, MoBeer on St. Patrick's Day. Guinness always gets a 2 thumbs up. It is the beer of St. Patrick's Day. It is the beer of MoBeer. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for MoBeer Madness with myself and JMO. It's going to be a long episode, but it should be a pretty funny one as we try to tackle 64 different. So if you put that together, you start with a field of 64, and you build it down to 32, 16, 8, 4, 2. I believe, math in my head, that's about 126 tastes that we need to do. And you can never go in once. So should be a pretty funny episode. But St. Patrick's Day, green beer, potsy, makes no sense. You don't have to. Everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day, but you don't have to pretend with green beer. This is as long as you're drinking beer, you're having fun, you got a good limerick, you're celebrating responsibly with your friends. But have a pint of Guinness on us. MoBeer.